Now then, welcome back to Utopia³ on the Resurrection mod pack. Playing around on the server. I've been here most of the day, building in Bay 5, setting up Nemgo Applied Energistics Inc. Just doing a little flyby, so you can see, yes, a flyby. I sorted myself out with killing a wither and got myself some angel wings. And we got that sorted out. It's very good that everybody's got lots of places to kill wither bosses. Yes, that's what I was going to say. Lots of places to kill wither bosses now. And it was only a matter of getting some wither schools from the farm that me and Ego tried to set up last episode. I mean, it was still spawning wither skeletons, so it was only a matter of time. This sword that Akko gave us was a looting 3 after all. So while the mob farm itself isn't exactly spot on right now, it still spawns wither skeletons, so I was still able to get myself 3 wither skeleton heads and go and kill a wither boss. Today we've also updated the server to the Feed the Beast Resurrection 1.0.1 pack. And by the time you're watching this video, we'll have updated the server to 1.0.2 pack, because this one's a slightly broken. And I've heard, not directly from the Modpack maker at Feed the Beast, but indirectly from the Modpack maker at Feed the Beast, through Teddy here, that there is an update being rushed out tomorrow to fix some of the things that were issues with this version. But we've got this version on right now, and I've been doing a lot of work in it, so I'm going to show you what I've been doing. For a start, right, one of the problems, right, this acacia wood strips is not acacia. I didn't put acacia wood here. I put factory blocks, like these factory blocks. There's a factory block, and I cut it up with forged microblocks, and the update forged microblocks. I saw the server console, and it literally just spammed me with forged microblocks, deleted, item missing, stuff gone wrong, forged microblocks all over the place. So it's basically taken what is an item ID for a strip and converted it from what I put it down as to this acacia wood. And if we go and have a look in this chest over here, this one? No. This one? No. Finally, this one. Yes. You'll see that there's some unnamed forged microblocks in here. These are the unnamed forged microblocks that I was using. I actually cut up, I think it might have been straightforward factory blocks. We'd cut them up and we'd used them for the farm at Nemgo. And now they are like so. Now they are wood. But we used them to make the grid in the farm at Nemgo. So, oh, man, I'm going to need an axe to break that now. Well, it's staying there for now. I'll get an axe to sort that out later. Also had an issue with the satchels, right? This satchel here has got an enchantment on holding 4. And everything in the top 3 rows is okay for me to move around and take in and out. But the holding 4 gives us 4 extra rows. And I can't click anything into or out of those 4 rows without crashing the client, and still keeps the stuff in there. Akko's got the same problem, and Akko has also managed to duplicate his satchel's inventory. All little bugs that will get fixed, and I know Akko, he'll probably get rid of the duplicated items because he doesn't like to cheat, and he doesn't like to feel that he's cheated in any way, even when it wasn't his fault. So I'm sure Akko will sort that out. As for what I'm going to do with this, well, there's a lot of valuable stuff in here. Look at this stuff, right? I've got 3 canvas bags. These are all my bees. This is including, right, this has the dragon egg in it. And the bees that I got from the end, which I was intending on making some sort of bee place at the end for the entire server to make the most of the dragon egg and the bees that need the dragon egg as a flower. But it's stuck in my satchel right now, and I can't get it out, because if I touch it, I crash. The purple canvas bag's got a load of junk in it, so I'm not worried about what's in there. My red canvas bag, that is my Thorncraft bag, and that has my Thormonomicon, no big deal. It's got a few bits and pieces, but it has got my wands and my wand caps. All my wands and wand caps are in that bag. There's a few other bits and pieces, like stuff for capturing nodes and a thermometer and stuff like that, and a few odd bits and pieces. I think there's actually a few pieces of stuff that I had planned for the Thorncraft side of things that I'd created and haven't yet plumbed in to the Thorncraft temple. I've got spell check in here. Spell check stuck now. Spell check might be forevermore gone. Meh. Autonomous activator, a couple of hopper upgrades, a reinforced portable tank, a tesseract, man, a tesseract. I today made 2 tesseracts for this power supply, right? Let me just see if there's anything else in here that's worth mentioning. Rolling machine, accuracy, yeah, nothing else to worry about. I don't know if you have already seen that Akko plumbed in. Let's see where I can see one. Akko plumbed in, and it's in his video, so you might be able to see. Everyone's done the same thing as me now. Before they had these pipes going through. We've got these pipes going into each bay. He basically is powering from this setup that he's been working on. And this isn't the final setup, that's why it's just a little thing here, just sitting here powering all the bays. There's going to be a much bigger, powerful system here. But this is, well, trying to keep up with 6 bays, all with resonant minion cubes. These are the minion cubes, right? He's actually named them minion cube as well. Nicholas made one for each bay, and they've now been installed, right? Well, to make the most of that, I made 2 tesseracts, and I wasn't intending on using the second tesseract other than in here somewhere. So my main power is coming into this resonant ender cell, and it's slowly but surely filling up. Okay, slowly but surely filling up. I've got the transfer node then just running straight across the whole thing. This sort of central walkway I designed first so that I could see from the central walkway down into there and also see onto the mezzanine floor, right? So then that was also a good place to then bring my cable across, my energy all the way across here, and it stops there, it doesn't have anywhere to go. But the idea is that it can drop down into banks of machines down the centre here that need RF to run, okay? So I got that set up, and then I thought, well, just in case I need RF to a machine that's maybe up on the side here, or down on one of these sides down here, I don't really want to be leading this cable, the energy pipe, across and down or up and around. I want it to stay neat and tidy looking. So I got myself a couple of tesseracts made. One to go right here, which currently has nothing selected and is drawing no power whatsoever. And then the other one is right there, ready for the day that I need to activate them. And say put one down here, so I don't have to run the cable across. Right, that was the plan, that was a plan. But now it's stuck in my satchel along with everything else. Big shame. All of these things, this was the top half of the satchel that I managed to take out. So I've got all my other bits and pieces out, but I can't remove anything from the bottom half. The holding 4 gives us the extra in the bottom half, and that's all stuck in there now. Okay, so anyway, let's get on with doing some cool stuff today. The energy side of things, we've got that. I've got an energy acceptor, which is pretty easy to make. Shall I show you the crafting recipe? I think I shall. Crafting recipe as thus. Quartz glass, some iron, and a flux crystal. The quartz glass is fairly simple. It's just some Certis quartz or nether quartz dust. I use nether quartz dust because we can find nether quartz a lot easier than we can find Certis quartz. And a bit of glass. Makes 4. So that is enough to make one of those. Nice and easy. And then I made these low-grade energy cubes, energy cells, just to take energy off the resident ender into here and down into the energy cell to power the AE system. Or at least to hold the power for the AE system. And I plan on taking this block of energy cells down to this platform here. But I also plan on using the dense ones, which is 8 of these around another block, I think. Yeah, something like that. I'll get around to updating it anyway. I don't need to tell you that just yet. We'll get to that and I'll show you it later. I've now updated to have a controller, an ME controller. And rather than just going with one, I've actually made all 8 there. And the whole of this structure is meant to be the ME controllers, right? And there's a reason I need such a weird shaped multi-block structure. There's a reason for it, a very good reason. I have to consider that this AE system in this tanker has to reach out to all of the bays. All 6 bays have to have linking to the AE system. And as you can see, just by looking at Rurax's place, right, there's a lot of stuff going on in here. A lot of GregTech machines and a lot of storage and all that kind of stuff that's going on. And then there's Akko stuff over here. I'm not going to show you everything because I know he's just done his bees, so that'll probably be an episode soon on his channel. But there's loads of things like the mob spawners all need to come into the applied energistics system and so on. It all needs to come into the network. And so we had a little discussion about it and decided that it would be nice to have 64 channels into each bay. Now, for those of you that don't know what channels are, I'll give you a quick explanation. Alright, this is a smart cable. It shows up how many channels are being used on a piece of cable. So from the controller here, out, it says that, well, it's showing that there are 3 lines, 3 blue lines. You see the 3 blue lines on it. Those 3 blue lines are 3 channels being used out of 8. So it would have 4 blue lines, and then it goes on to white lines as well. It lights up with white lines. Not on that one. This one's a good example. Here we go, look. Okay, so you count up, there's 4 dark blue lines, and then there's a nearly white blue, a white blue line, a bright line, which means there are 5 things connected along that wire. And the same here, 5 things connected along that wire. Out of 8, 4 and 4. 4 blue lines, 4 white lines makes 8. So there are 8 channels on a wire. And you're allowed 8 channels on a network without needing a controller. Okay, which is how I get away with it back at Nemgo in the basement. I've got less than 8 channels on the network, so the network doesn't need a controller. I put a controller in anyway, but it doesn't need a controller. You can run an AE system without a controller. So this is basically a hookup to the energy. Controller to energy, that's a hookup. But because I've got a few things down here, I've got a crafting terminal, so I can do my crafting here. You've seen me make that. I did that already. A disk drive, which is also counted as 1. And this is a pattern terminal, which I've also got at Nemgo for making patterns, which I think you've already seen as well. So those 3 things make 3 lines, 3 channels out of 8. So on this route from the controller, I can have 8 channels here, right? These big cables here show off 32 channels. So I believe it's 8, 16, or 4, 8, 4, 8, 12, 32? I can't remember. Maybe it's 8, 16, 32. It's got to be 4s, isn't it? 4, yeah, it's got to be 4s. So every bar means 4 channels are taken up. I think that's how it works. I guess. Yeah, that's got to be it. Yeah. So from here, there are 8 channels being taken up, according to that. However, it's not showing the full version, because there's actually 10 here, and over this side, I think there's 1, yes. So there's actually 9. No, there's actually 11, which means there's not quite 16, which means that or there's not quite 12, so there's not enough to go on there. So I think, if I'm right, and I'm still sort of learning this myself, you know that I am just about learning this myself. If I put another thing on, let's put an ME terminal on. I've got one of those made. Let's put an ME terminal over here on this section just to see, right? So these are currently 10, and I say one over there 11, and this is 2 bars. what I'm expecting is that those 2 bars equal 12. No, those 2 bars equal 8, and the third bar would equal 12. That's 4 on each. But currently it's 11, so it's only reading as 2 bars because it's not yet 12. If I put this on, it should change to 3 bars. Please be right. Yes, I understand it, you see, and now you do too. One of the things the more advanced applied energistics users will understand is a P2P tunnel, a point-to-point interface. Now, I haven't got further than making one yet, but I have watched a video that Akko made recently, and if you go and have a look on his channel, you'll see a tutorial on P2P tunnels and how they work. And I've watched that a couple of times, and I pretty much understand the basic principles of it based on what he's shown me in those videos. And I happen to have Akko 2 doors down, so if anything goes wrong while I'm figuring it out in practice, I can always ask him anyway. But this is my idea for how to figure it all out, okay? A point-to-point interface. I configure a point-to-point interface with a memory card. So I made myself this memory card. The recipe is fairly simple. It's got one of these calculation processors, which is a bit of the pure Certis quartz, or charged Certis quartz, or something like that. Pure Certis quartz, yeah, something like that. And a few bits and pieces to make this. And I'm going to use this to link point-to-point interfaces. So I can have a single cable with 6 or 7 channels, which is one of these. One of these cables has 8 channels on it, which is pretty much the same as one of these, really. One of these has got 8 as well, I believe. But this is only so good as we make it. So 8 channels going down that side of the ship with 8 P2P devices on would give us, using the 8 channels, and the 8 P2P devices would use those 8 channels, and the same on the other side. I only technically need 5 and then go to the forecastle, which is 6, and then maybe somewhere else, like above the forecastle, and give that some more and make it 9. No, as long as I stick to 8, I should be okay. So I'll get that worked out, okay, and laying the cables. I would have to lay all of this dense cable if I didn't use just standard cable. And this dense cable, let's have a look, and Wally had shown me the recipe. There we go. Dense cable is covered cable, 4 covered cable with a bit of redstone and glowstone. And if you hadn't noticed, this ship, this tanker, is pretty big. That's a lot of cable I would have to make in order to do that all the way down, all the way round. The point-to-point interfaces allow me to cut all that out, not need the big cable. I can use a standard little cable with the P2P devices on it, or coming off it. So long as I link a P2P over here and a P2P in each place, I can use single cables all the way down the side. What this whole bay is really designed for is automating the process of making the applied energistics things that I need, and autocrafting things and stuff like that. It's going to be lots of autocrafting. So you've already seen the golem in a pot, a golem in a pool that I got at Nemgo's. Well, I've duplicated it over here. I've taken the redstone the same, and I've got it all connected up to the main AE system the same. I've got power going to the crystal growth accelerators the same. And I got the little dude in the water looking at me with his big blue eyes the same. He's set up exactly the same to accept those crystals, those pure crystals, when they're developed. And he puts them into the interface. The only thing that's changed over here, apart from the decorational blocks that I'm using, is that the interface was on this side in Nemgo, and I've moved it over to this side, realizing a cunning little bit of extra tech that I can add into this. So an interface has patterns available, right? So if I put a seed pattern, like I tell it, let's do this actually. Let's do it right now. Let's set it up right now while I think about it. I'm gonna need. This is now auto-crafting, okay? So I'm gonna need a seed. And do I have any seeds in here? No, I don't. So first off, it's gonna be that. Let's check this crafting pattern. Yes, that plus. Let's go nether quartz. Let's do the pure nether stuff, right? Equals seed. Yeah. So sand plus nether quartz equals seed. So that is a crafting recipe. I will encode it because I'm going to need it. Okay, that's that one. To actually make that work, I'm going to need a molecular assembly chamber to craft it. But we are going to just craft a few of those ourselves first before we get onto the molecular assembly chamber, because we can do this bit without. And then once I've made the seeds, let's just quickly make a couple now then. That one there, and actually it wasn't that one, was it? It was that one. Certis quartz seeds and nether quartz seeds. There we go. And some sand. There we go. Give me that. So let's take a couple of nether quartz seeds like that, and that should equal 2 pure. Okay. Okay. So in the pattern, we will say this is now going to be not a crafting, but it's going to be a processing pattern. So this is telling it, if I ask you for one of these pure nether quartz crystals, if I ask you for one of those, this is how you make it. You put one of those in. Okay? So then it'll say, right, okay, well, I'll put one of those into what machine you're attaching me to, and it's going to process this, and I'm going to receive that as an output. Ting. Okay. So now if I put this in here, put the quartz crystal seed in there, okay? And I hope this works now. I really do. So, yeah, we've got the seeds in there. We've got the seeds right there. Two seeds. I'm going to bring this across over here, and I'm going to put the pattern into the interface. Now, the interface is directly above a dropper, which will drop the seeds into the water, in theory. Okay, so that is that one. Okay, so it now knows that when I ask for a pure nether quartz crystal, it puts a seed into the inventory it's attached to, which is the dropper. When the dropper receives the seed, it will have a comparator give a signal out, which will then come around and do a little pulsey thing that I showed you last episode. Well, not last episode, but last AE episode, which will then power the dropper to fire the seed into there. Then the seed will grow, and he will then pick it up when it's fully grown and put it back into the interface, which will then be sucked back into the applied energistics system, and the processing will be complete, right? There is one small snag to that before I do anything else, though. Let's get a cable. We only need the one. I may as well carry it all, actually, because I might use it a bit more. I've got another little thing that I want to set up over here, which this is a level emitter. Let's take that off. I actually don't need a cable, of course. Okay. These little toggle bus, right, allows me to turn it on and off. So now, these growth crystal accelerators should be on and functioning. They should be on and functioning, but I think they may have just gone dead. Maybe. I've still got one thing there. Yeah, I've still got it attached. So they should start crackling soon enough. Maybe the effect's not working, but they should be on and running because they're connected to the power system, right? So now, I've told it what to do. It should, and we can go and check, fire these things off. We're going to have to take all of the pure nether quartz out that we've got at the minute and click craft. And it's going to go, okay, there we go. There's no CPUs available, that's okay. So we need to make a crafting CPU, right? And just have that connected to the network somewhere, somehow. Now, I actually want to put these crafting CPUs up along this top mezzanine here. But just to give it something of a memory to get going, we're going to start by doing a crafting CPU through here. Right? There's a crafting unit, which is not what you need to go for. Right? The crafting unit has other purposes. You use the crafting unit as a material. You're actually going for at least a 1K crafting storage. That then holds the information. It's like the CPU. It tells you, it stores the information and processes it. And then you've got 4K, 16K, and 64K as well. So we want one of these. And that's the crafting unit and a 1K ME storage. So a 1K crafting storage requires a 1K ME storage and a crafting unit. Makes sense? Yeah? Okay, so we make one of these. I got one of those. There we go. And the pure Certis quartz is being used, as you can see. I'm actually going to make 2 of those because I've got it at the minute. And then we want to make the crafting unit itself, which is 2 calculation processors. I stood there for ages making a few of these because I needed to get this ready. There we go. Got one of those. And then we put the 2 together and we make a that. Okay. So now we've got a crafting storage. Okay. Where do I put it? I think I'm going to put it over here for now. Just because then I know what it's doing. Right? It immediately becomes active and on the system. And somewhere down the line, this will have added something to the number of channels being used. But it does mean that this is now going to be craftable. Those are multi-block structures as well, so I can multi-block that to make it faster to process things. And when the whole tanker is operational and everybody's crafting all sorts of things all the day, every day, it's going to take some time. So I want one of these next. Now I've got crafted CPU automatic, so it will pick any that's available. We've only got one available, but if I click through it, there's crafting CPU 0, which is the one I've got. And I've got 1024 storage available. It's a 1K drive for that particular processor. I've got no co-processors at the minute. That's a completely different thing. And to craft this, I'm going to use 27 bytes of this 1024. Yeah? I can have it automatic or pick a crafting CPU. Okay, and start. So now it should have thrown the seed into the dispenser, the dropper, and put it in there. You can see it just about sparkling. In fact, I get too close, I pick it up. There we go, nether quartz seed. Already 3% done, which means it's obviously working its magic. I can put it back in there like I do at Nemgo, put it in by hand, click it into there, it'll sit in there again, okay? As long as I don't get too close to the glass, I don't scoop up the seeds. I may have to put a little bit of a warning barrier or something for people to not suck up seeds as they're walking past. But that'll grow fairly quickly now, right? Okay, so we want to be able to craft these nether quartz seeds, okay? I'm probably going to change where I put this. This is just like, I'm going to show you, and then at some point, I'm going to spend a few hours rearranging things, and it will go somewhere else. So, for now, let's just add it on to this, because that's what it's for. I think I'm probably going to put it on this side, actually, but for now, that'll do. So, the molecular assembly chamber has to be attached into a place like that. Okay, so now it's butting into there, and it's got a little lighting effect. That means it's activated. Okay, and if we could see another line on here, we would be up to, what is it, 12, maybe 13, so this may be 14, which is still not enough. It's not 16, which would be half of 32, which would be the 4 bars. Still not the full 4 bars on the channels, so I've still got plenty of channels left to do stuff like this down here. But that's added to the whole process. And you can see that it's sticking in and it's attached and everything's working properly. It looks like it's going in there, right? It's attached. The next thing is to put an interface next to it. So this becomes a valid inventory. This is an actual crafting inventory. I believe that they've got options that I can actually set up an auto crafting so it just constantly crafts stuff. But I'm using them first and foremost when I request something. So the interface, as I've said before, you put the pattern in, and it tells you what the process is. If I put 2 nether quartz dust, one nether quartz dust and one sand, I get 2 nether quartz seeds. Okay, so it knows, put it in here, and then push it into the available inventory, and then this will take it and push it back again. In theory, I don't know if it pushes it back again. Actually, I might need an import bus or something. But that feels like that should do it. Okay, so we're going to test that. We're going to test that right now. Let's see. Clear that off. There we go. Nether quartz seeds. So I'm going to take the nether quartz seeds out. Now you can see I've got a craft there instead. I can show this instead of stored. I can do craftable only. And there's nothing. Ah, there it is. So the 2 things that we've got craftable in this AE bay at the minute are nether quartz seeds and pure nether quartz crystals. That, of course, throws a seed into the pot over there. And I believe if I clicked this now to craft one, it would automatically make a seed and then put it in and throw it to the golem to make it, I think. So let's craft. Oh, we had a few, so let's make 10 of those. So it should put 5 crafting recipes through. Yeah, 5 sand, 5 nether quartz dust to craft 10 of those. I can choose a CPU. It's only using 57 bytes, so you can imagine how these processes soon add up and you need more CPU power. But I'm just going to start that. And I've done 10 so that we might get a chance of having a look at it. See it in action somehow. And work. And work, and work, and work. Please work. Okay. Let's have a look. Sort by name, stored and craftable. Is it even going to show me the actual workings going on? Oh, it's already got 10 in there. It was so fast, we didn't even walk past there. We didn't even get there in time. Right? but believe me, the only place that it knows how to make these things is in this assembly chamber. Maybe a more complicated process would have taken longer. But as you can see, we've got the 10 quartz seeds in there. So if I take these out again, right? Let's take these out again and throw that in there. I'm going to request 12. Okay? So I've got 11 seeds at the minute. I'm going to request 12, which means that it will take 1 sand and 1 nether quartz and make a seed, or make 2 seeds. And then with the seeds that it's got, it's going to craft the pure nether quartz. So it's showing me all the processing, and that's how much the total process is going to be through the CPU. The CPU can handle 87. So let's start it. This is how I've got so many from practicing all this sort of stuff. Testing it all out. That's how many I've got in the system. So it's probably already done that. Now it should be clicking those seeds into there. It's done all that by the looks of it. And there you can see all the seeds sparkling in the back there. If I get too close, I'll pick them up. But, of course, when the golem sees that they're done, he will pick them up and put them in there, which we've already tried and tested, and that works lovely as well. That's all I've got time for this episode, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next episode on the Utopia³ playing in the Resurrection mod pack on the Nemgo tanker. Oh, yeah.